Welcome to Dentists Behaving Badly. I'm Dr. Toni, a dentist who has been in practice for over 20 years. I'm selecting articles from the internet of instances of dentists who have made the news for acting up and others who have found themselves in bad situations. Sometimes good intentions turn into something bad, other times the intentions were bad from the beginning. This article was found in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel on July 15, 2022. Grafton dentist sentenced to over 4 years in prison for a fraud scheme in which he broke patients' teeth. Link to the article can be found in the description box. A Grafton dentist who intentionally damaged patients' teeth to aid a fraud scheme was sentenced Friday to 4.5 years in prison. The dentist, age 62, told patients they needed crowns, then damaged teeth, and took x-rays before the crown procedures so the work would be covered by insurance. But many patients also paid significant portions of the bills out of pocket as well. "It was never my intent to harm anyone in any way," the dentist said in between tears. "I love my patients." The judge also ordered the dentist to serve 3 years of supervised release after his prison term. He attached more than 1,600 crowns over a 20-month period. An executive with an insurance company testified that on average, Wisconsin dentists installed fewer than 6 crowns per 100 patients, but that in 2019, the dentist's rate exceeded 32 per 100 patients. The scheme was revealed after he sold his practice in 2019, and the new owners realized after reviewing files the crown numbers were way out of the ordinary. The dentist was indicted in late 2020 after a 4-day trial in Milwaukee federal court in March. A jury found him guilty on 7 counts, 5 fraud charges related to 4 patients, and 2 charges of making false statements related to 2 of the same patients. The dentist consigned his patients to potentially lifelong consequences, including sensitivity and pain, the risk of needing future root canals and implants, and the need for multiple crown replacements in the future, the prosecutors wrote in a sentencing memo. They noted that most of the patients never complained of pain or sought the crowns. Instead, the dentist used psychological manipulation, often warning skipping the recommended crown procedure could result in greater harm and costs later. The defendant did not simply steal over $1 million. He also abused his patients' trust and broke their teeth to satisfy his greed, prosecutors wrote. Many of the defendant's victims have also lost trust in the dental or medical profession as a whole, the memo reads. Indeed, nearly every victim who has submitted a statement has discussed how they find it difficult to trust their doctors. "Every time I went to get my teeth cleaned, about every 6 months, I dreaded it because I was nervous and anxious that Dr. C would say I needed another crown procedures. Crown procedures are time-consuming, painful, and expensive," one former patient wrote. They are. The dentist attorney suggested a sentence below the guideline range of 8 to 10 years in prison. The government argued the guidelines failed to account for the violent element of the crime and should actually have been higher. The guidelines in this case, which deal with fraud, are based primarily on loss amount, ultimately failed to adequately encompass the scope, breadth, and human devastation wrought by the defendant's conduct, prosecutors wrote in their sentencing memo. The government recommended 9.5 years in prison, followed by 3 of supervised release. Until today, the dentist was callous, half-measured platitudes of apology. That's how he responded, they said. With callous, half-measured platitudes of apology. The defendant's lack of remorse is not particularly surprising considering his testimony at the trial. That testimony was replete with falsehoods that have earned him a well-deserved obstruction of justice enhancement in this case. In their sentencing memo, the dentist's lawyers described him as a native of Cedarburg and a committed Catholic who helped his ailing patients. It includes testimonials about his generosity, compassion, kindness, and professional skills from family, friends, patients, and other dentists. He graduated from Marquette Dental School in 1986 and met his wife, a dental hygienist, at a practice in the Boston area. They ran Jackson Dental Clinic, where the offense took place from 1991 to 2019. They opened a new practice in Hartford after selling the Jackson practice. The defense argued that over several recent years, less than 6% of the defendants charged with fraud of 1.5 million or more were sentenced to 5 years or longer in prison. A long prison sentence would be unnecessary for the dentist, his lawyers argued, because of his age, lack of record, and inability to practice dentistry anymore. The dentist has already paid a forfeiture of more than $1 million and surrendered his dental license. The dentist also faces malpractice lawsuits in Washington County brought by nearly 100 former patients. These cases have been stayed pending the outcome of the federal prosecution. The business of dentistry is a hard business. It is very expensive to run and operate a dental practice. Expenses are high and the return is low. This is the main reason behind the increasing number of fraud cases. However, this case isn't just about fraud. It's actually physical abuse or assault. Intentionally breaking a person's tooth for gain is an egregious assault to the patient's psyche. This is just a nasty individual, just disrespectful, and really shouldn't be practicing. Most dentists endeavor daily to use their skills, talents, and social standing as doctors to provide outstanding care to their patients and serve as role models in the community. A small group of others allow entitlement, greed, and personal proclivities to overshadow their responsibilities to their patients, the profession, and society. Thanks for watching.